Hey, good morning, Gilbert High World History students. Today is the 7th of December, 2020, and I am in quarantine. I do not have COVID myself. However, I am in quarantine. So, what I'm going to do today is share with you guys what I was going to share with you today and tomorrow, obviously, respectively, for the classes that I have Tuesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Friday. Share with you guys um, the charts that we made last week. So here we go. And I'll make this larger or smaller as we need. But if let's take a look at Hinduism first, okay? Try and make this a little. There we go. So Hinduism, all right, developed around 3000 BCE. Let's look at this from the. Well, let's try and look at this from the top down, okay? They have this overarching god called Brahman. All right. Now, Brahman can be broke down into three other gods: Shiva, who is the destroyer; Brahma, who is the creator, right, the creator of everything; and then Vishnu, who protects what Brahma creates. Okay. Basically, these three are their main, right? Brahman's their overall, but these three underneath, Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma, are their main gods, and different households worship different ones. There are other Hindu gods, minor gods that each household worships as well, but these are the three main. Okay, Brahman, he is the world's soul containing and uniting all Atmans. Okay, so what is an Atman? Whew. An Atman is our individual soul. Okay, so everybody on the planet has an individual soul. Brahman, their main god, is the one that unites all those souls, brings them together. Okay, now let's talk about the ultimate goal of Hinduism. Okay, the ultimate goal of Hinduism is to reach this state of being called moksha. Okay, now Hindus do not believe that you can reach moksha, or this like perfect state of being, in one lifetime. They believe it takes many lifetimes of working at it to get there. Okay, which means that they believe in what's called reincarnation. Right, when you die, you are brought back as something else or someone else, depending on your karma. Right here, your karma. Okay. If you've had a lot of good karma, you'll be brought back as something better. If you haven't had good karma, you will not get brought back as something good. Okay. Just like I said, who you're brought back as or what you're brought back as depends on your karma, how well you lived your life beforehand. Okay. The caste system, we've got the Hindu caste system. Okay. The very, very top, the highest group of people are the Brahman. They are the priests and academics. The Kshatriyas, which are the warriors and kings, come right next. Okay. Underneath them are the Vaishya. They are merchants and landowners. If you remember the last group of people we talked about, I believe the merchants and landowners were on the bottom. I think that was with the Chinese. Then the second rung from the bottom, you have the Shudra, the commoners, peasants, and servants. Finally, you have the outcasts, or the untouchables. They're the very bottom of the bottom. They're the people that no one wants to associate with. Okay, these are people that are deemed unclean. They do the jobs that no one else will do. Like, I don't know, really nasty, like cleaning out a sewage system or something of that nature. Okay, but they're the very, very bottom of the barrel. Okay, so the Hindus have a whole group of holy books. Okay, but they're called the Vedas. Okay, and you guys could see in the notes. There's a whole bunch of different Vedas. The Rig Veda is probably the one that they go to the most. But what the Rig Vedas are is their holy book, or what the Vedas, excuse me, are. It's their holy book. Okay, it contains rituals, legends, poems, things like great epics like the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, all right. So in a nutshell, Hinduism, um, the ultimate goal is to reach moksha, or this perfect state of being. Um, in and to get there, you have to be reborn a number of times, and how and what you're reborn as are attributed to your karma, how well you live your life. All right, so now let's take a look at Buddhism. Come on, get there. I think I put some of the pictures a little too low. So Buddhism was developed around the 6th century BC, so about 2400 maybe years after Hinduism. Okay, their ultimate goal is to reach a state called nirvana. Okay, that's just like moksha, pretty much, for the most part. Moksha and nirvana, pretty much the same. Okay, the goal is to have this perfect mindset, perfect enlightenment, just this perfect state of being. Okay, it's the Buddhism is made up of the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, Dharma. Okay, and then they have a holy book also, but we'll go through the Four Noble Truths real quick. The first noble truth is dukkha. It's the truth of suffering. Okay, you have to be able to suffer and understand suffering, and you have to be able to complete these things, all these things, in order to reach, in order to reach nirvana. Okay, so dukkha is the first, the truth of suffering. Samudaya, I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing it properly. Samudaya is the truth of the cause of suffering. Okay, what causes it? What's the truth of what causes suffering? Nirodha, the truth of the end of suffering. Okay, what's the truth about the end of suffering? What's that going to bring to me? What does that mean to me? And then finally, the last of the Four Noble Truths, the truth of the path that frees us from suffering. Right. So if you think about all these things, the truth of each of these, it's telling us what we're going to experience, what it's going to take. Right. Okay. Along with the Four Noble Truths, there's an Eightfold Path. And this is basically how you're supposed to look at life and how you're supposed to live life. Okay. You need to have the right view, right? The proper way to live, the right resolve. You've got to make sure that if you're doing this, you are resolved, you are going to do it. Boom. You have to have the right speech. You have to speak right. And the right words, not the language. Okay. The right actions, right? You have to make sure that you are living the right way. Right livelihood, the right effort, the right mindfulness. You have to think the right way, and right concentration. Okay. Without any of these being on the same plane, you're not going to reach nirvana. All right. All right. And finally, not finally. Next, we have the three jewels. Okay. And this is basically just an overall what life needs to be like, or what life is. You have Dharma, which is doctrine and teaching, Sangha, which is the religious community, and Buddhism, reaching nirvana, or Buddha, excuse me, reaching nirvana. Okay, those three things, if you understand them, know them, learn them, are a part of them, eventually you're going to reach nirvana. Okay. All right. So the Buddhists have a holy book as well called the Tripitaka, or the Triple Basket. In it, it contains rules, teachings, sermons of Buddha. Okay. Um, some really cool and interesting stuff. All right. So, one more thing about Buddhism, it actually grew out of Hinduism. Okay. This story in short goes that um, Siddhartha Gautama, who was a wealthy prince, had never been outside his kingdom, and I put a little video. You guys, hopefully you guys watched it. Put a little video online or on the notes that I took that you guys could check out. Anyway, he was so jaded and so sheltered, he didn't know anything of the outside world. Okay, and so he went out, and he was a Hindu. He went out, and eventually, all the things that he saw culminated in him becoming or creating Buddhism. It's a really neat story. Hopefully, you guys read through it. Okay, so let's take a look here real quick at what the similarities are, real quick. Okay, both of them came from India. Both Hinduism and Buddhism came from India. Both are polytheistic. There's many gods. Actually, Buddhism, um, just it depends on what kind. There's a couple different sects of Buddhism. Some still worship, I believe, some of the Hindu gods in ways. It's but also some say it could be a way of life, not a religion. So it depends on who you talk to. Both of them believe in reincarnation. Okay, although Buddhists do believe that you can reach nirvana in one lifetime if you are dedicated enough. Both believe in some kind of enlightenment, right? Nirvana for Buddhism and moksha for Hinduism. And they both do have holy books too, the Vedas and then Tripitaka. So, all right, let's take a look at this last this last group of folks, the Judah. Let's take a look at Judaism. Okay, um, they're the first monotheistic religion. Okay, they believe in the God Yahweh, or as just regular Christians would say, God. Um, their their Bible is called the Tanakh. I can't say it. Tanakh. Um, right here. That is their doctrines, beliefs, and it is made up of a couple different sections: the Pentateuch or Torah, and the Talmud. And that's basically what it is. It's their doctrines, beliefs, and history. Okay, it's the Old Testament of the Bible. If you've ever looked at the Old Testament of the Bible. They believe that God gave all people free will to choose good and evil, to choose whether to do good or evil. Okay, Adam and Eve is the creation story here. Um, God created the earth in 7 days, and then after Adam and Eve sinned, they were booted out of the garden, and mankind had a lot more difficulties. Um, Then you've got some covenants that are made, the Noahic Covenant, where God promises that he will never cause floods to come all over the earth again. The Abrahamic Covenant, where he promises um, that Abraham's offspring will outnumber um, I think this one's the sand or the stars in the sky, one or two, but it'll be a great nation, and promises them a certain spot of land in the Middle East. The Davidic or the Mosaic Covenant, which is basically a little bit of a reiteration of the Abrahamic Covenant, and then finally the Davidic Covenant, which says, "Hey, your descendant is going to sit on the throne forever." Okay. They got a few important holidays: Passover, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. Um, they believe that their God is omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent. Okay, omniscient is all knowing. Omnipotent, omnipotent is all powerful, and omnipresent is everywhere. Okay. even though the Tanakh is um, their Bible, that's what they read to figure out how to live. The most important of the things in there is the Ten Commandments. Okay. Um, they believe that God wants a personal relationship with everybody, and that the way that you can get to heaven someday is is by forgiveness through prayer and repentance. Okay. So let's look at how all three of these kind of um, go together. And I forgot to put one up here. They all have rules that dictate how you're supposed to live your life. They all have some kind of a holy book. Okay, they believe in some kind of. I guess I do have that here. They do believe in some sort of afterlife or after state, right? I think that you could look at nirvana and moksha and heaven as similar. Heaven is a perfect place. Nirvana is a perfect, no, and nirvana and moksha are perfect states, and you don't reach there until um, you've lived life a certain way. Um, so they also all have places of worship. There's Buddhist temples, there's Hindu temples, and obviously there's Jewish temples. So there's just a brief overview of the three religions. I hope that this helps and doesn't confuse things more for you guys, because that was not my goal. Please email me or make a comment in the comment section if you have more questions. Thanks a lot, guys.